using shaders to apply color and the WebGL. And in the previous video we were able to create this white square inside of the black square, so you should have something like this. But now in this video we were gonna be able to get this to add some 3D and some color here, so this should be our end result. So having created a square plane in the previous demonstration, the next obvious step is to add a splash of color to it. We can do this by revising the shaders, applying color to the vertices, and the WebGL objects are built using sets of vertices, each of which has a position and a color. By default, all other pixels colors and all its other attributes including position are computed using interpolation, automatically creating smooth gradients. Previously our vertex shader didn't apply any specific colors to the vertices. Between this and the fragment shader assigning the fixed color of white each pixel, the entire square was rendered as solid white. Let's say we want to render a gradient in which each corner of the square is a different color. So again, something like this. Red, blue, green and white. The first thing to do is to establish these colors for the 4 vertices. To do this, we first need to create an array of vertex colors, then store it into the WebGL buffer. So we are gonna, let's just close all of these tabs, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my programming is this folder. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna open it with, I'm just gonna type in code space that so I can open it in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is what we have here, so I can close this and I'm gonna go into the index. I'm gonna just press Alt plus L plus O. So let me see, so this is what we have here. Okay, so add the following function to your init-buffer.js module. So we can, okay, so we're gonna type in this function and we are gonna go to our init-buffer.js. so we have this function init buffers, then we have another function init position buffer. Okay, so I'm gonna click in this curly braces, it's gonna be here, it's gonna end here, so I'm gonna go just below and I'm gonna have this new function named init color. So we're gonna type it in, so it's gonna be function and it's gonna be init, it's gonna be init color, it's gonna be like that, init color, so camel notation, and then it's gonna be buffer. Okay, so init color buffer, we're gonna pass in the GL as a parameter. We're gonna open curly braces, and inside of the curly braces we're gonna have this cons declaration, so it's gonna be cons, and we are gonna name it colors like that, and we are gonna set it to an array. Okay, so we're gonna have 1.0 comma 1.0, okay, 1.0 comma 1.0 comma, okay, let me see, 1.0, okay, so one is gonna be 3 4 5. Okay, I'm gonna go here 1.0 comma 1.0 comma and then 0 0 0.0 comma. Okay, so we're gonna have that, those two. Okay, so we're gonna have another 0.0 comma. Okay, so now we're gonna have 1.0 comma, we're gonna go down, we're gonna have, let me see, we're gonna have 0.0, so we're gonna have 0.0 comma 1.0 comma 0.0 1.0, then we're gonna have 0 0, okay, 0.0 comma, and then we're gonna have 1.0 1.0. I should have copied maybe, and let's just grab these two. Okay, let's just grab and let's copy this. Okay, so we have this array named colors, and okay, let me see, colors, that's fine. So we're gonna close this, we close it, and we're gonna end this statement with a semicolon. This is our array, and outside of that, but inside of the function, we're gonna have this declaration. It's gonna be the cons declaration, and we're gonna have the color, it's gonna be buffer color buffer, and we are gonna set it to GL that create buffer. So it's gonna be create buffer. It's gonna have this method create buffer, and we're gonna open parentheses, okay, semicolon at the end. And now we're gonna use the GL, so GL that, and this time is gonna be the bind buffer, okay, bind buffer. We're gonna have some arguments here. It's gonna be the GL that uppercase is gonna be array buffer, okay, that's fine. And as a second argument, we're gonna have the color buffer, so it's gonna be color buffer, okay, that's fine. We're gonna end it with semicolon, and then again we're gonna use GL, and this time it's gonna be buffer data. It's gonna be buffer data, okay. As you can see, Visual Studio Code makes you very easy. You can just type B and you can just look for that. So it's gonna be the first one, no, the second one. It's gonna be what it was the buffer. It was buffer data, like that. And again we're gonna have GL that, and it's gonna be array underscore buffer. Then we're gonna have the keyword new, and we're gonna have in the, it's gonna be okay, here it's gonna be the float. It's gonna be the float 32 array, okay. And then as a third argument, oh oops, before that we'll need to pass something, and we're gonna pass in the colors, the second one here. And now as a third argument we are gonna have the GL that, and it's gonna be a static draw, okay, static draw, yeah, that's fine. We're gonna end it with a semicolon, and finally we're gonna return, and we're gonna return this, let me see, we're gonna return the color buffer. So we're gonna return the color buffer, okay. Oh, it was here, the color buffer. So we ended up with a semicolon at the end, and we can just save it. Let me see if we didn't have any mistakes here. So init color buffer, so init color buffer. So let me see real quick. This one is gonna be init color buffer. We're passing the GL, and this is gonna be a function that counts colors. And I'm just gonna, let me see if I can do this. I just wanna grab these colors, okay, like that. And I'm just gonna paste it here, just in case I miss something, just in case. But okay, we can save it. And now let's keep moving. So this code starts by creating a JavaScript array containing four value vectors, one for each vector color. Then a new WebGL buffer is allocated to store these colors, and the array is converted into floats and stored into the buffer. Of course, we also need to call this new function from init buffers and return the new buffer it creates. So now at the end of your init buffer function, add the following code replacing the existing return statement. So let's go into the init buffer. So let me see, it's gonna be here, okay. But let me see, okay, at the end of your init buffer function, so we have init buffer function, init position, init color buffer. So they're talking about this one. This is the function, so this is, it starts here, it ends here. So okay, they're saying add the following code replacing the existing return statement. Okay, so we're gonna replace this return statement. Okay, so let's just remove it like that. And now we're gonna have const, it's gonna be const color. So we're gonna have this declaration is gonna be const, and we're gonna name it color, and it's gonna be buffer, like that, color buffer. And we're gonna set it to init init buffers, init color buffer, like that. And we're gonna pass in the GL as an argument. We're gonna end it up with a semicolon to the next line. We're gonna have the return now. So we're gonna return, and we're gonna open curly braces. Inside of the curly braces we're gonna have the the position, so with a colon, and it's gonna be position buffer. We separate it with a comma, and then we're gonna have in the color, so like that. Again, we say it's gonna be color buffer like that. So we have the position and color. Okay, so we have that. And if we go into our project, nothing is changing, so let's keep moving. Okay, and this tutorial is very short, so we're gonna finish quick. So to use these colors, the vertex shader needs to be updated to pull the appropriate color from the color buffer. Note, update the VS source declaration in your main function like this. So the only thing if you're following this tutorial, just pay attention when they say, for example, update the VS source declaration in your main function. So they're referring to this is the main function. And now we are here in this is the declaration, the cons declaration VS source. So what they want, the VS source declaration, we need to update it. And the vertex shader program. Okay, so we need to, okay, so what do we have here? So we have the cons source, then we have the attribute. Let me see. Okay, so let's just copy this one, and pretty much the only thing that we need to do is, let me see, this is gonna end right here, so we can just pretty much delete it and paste it here. So let's do that for now. So we have updated the VS source declaration. Okay, so we have the inside of the backticks, we have the attribute, the vec4 a vertex position, we have the attribute, the vec4 a vertex color, then we have the uniform mat4 u model view matrix, then we have the uniform mat4 u projection matrix variant low p vec4 v color, then we have the void main, and inside we're passing the void. Inside of the curly braces we have the gl underscore position, and we are setting it to the u projection matrix multiplied by the u model view matrix multiplied by the a vertex position. Outside of that, we're gonna have the v color set to the a vertex color. Okay, so outside we close the curly braces of this void, and then we close the backticks of the declaration VS source, and then we end it with a semicolon. So we have that, and that's we have. So the key difference here is that for each vertex we pass its color using a variant to the fragment shader. So we have that. Okay, so what else do we have here? So let's keep moving. Coloring the fragments. In order to pick up the interpolated color for each pixel, we need to change the fragment shader to fetch the value from the v color variant. So update the fs source declaration in your main function like this. And okay, as you can see, it's very little code, so let's just copy it and let's go to this one. Is gonna be this, it's gonna be this declaration fs source. So let's delete this part and let's just copy this one. So pretty much we are updating it, and as you can see, this declaration is the fs source. We are setting it to backticks. Inside of the backticks we have the variant low p, the vec4, the v color, we have the void main, we're passing void, and inside of the curly braces we have the gl underscore frag color, we're setting it to the v color. Then we close backticks and we ended up with a semicolon. So we have that, and now each fragment receives the interpolated color based on its position relative to the vertex position instead of a fixed value. Now drawing using the colors. Next, you need to add code to look up the attribute location for the colors and set up that attribute for the shader program. So now we're gonna update program info declaration in your main function like this. So we are still in this main function, and now we're gonna go into the program info. So this is the program info declaration. Update the program info declaration in your main function to look like this. Okay, so there's pretty much not much changing. Okay, so we have program set to shader program, we have the attribute, we have the uniform location, and then we have the model view matrix. So we have pretty much the program set to the shader program, we have the attribute locations, we have, okay, where's here, okay, so we have the attribute location, and then we have the uniform locations. Okay, let's just copy this piece of code and let's just update it since it's pretty much similar. So let's just delete this part. So this is the code, and okay, so we can delete this, and again it's pretty much similar. So we have this program info declaration, we have this program info declaration. So again, the program is set to shader program, we have the attribute locations, inside of the curly braces we have the vertex position and column, we have the gl.get attribute location, we have the shader program, then as a second argument we have this string, the a vertex position. We have something similar in the second line, the vertex color, column, gl.get attribute location, inside of the parentheses we have the shader program, and as a second argument we have the string a vertex color. So we have the program, the attribute location, now we have the uniform location. So we open curly braces and we're gonna have the project, the projection matrix set to gl.get uniform location, shader, and U projection matrix, and then the model view matrix gl.get uniform location, the shader program, and the U model view matrix. So we have that. Okay, so now next, draw scene needs to use these colors when drawing the square. So up to this point nothing has changed here in our code. Oh, okay, so now it has changed. So now before it had a white square in the middle, but there's nothing there, just there's pitch black here. So now let's modify the draw scene. So we're gonna go into the draw scene and let's see what they say. So add the following function to your draw scene module. So since we are not updating, so we are adding code, so let's type it in. Okay, so add the following function to your draw scene module. So let me see, so we have this function, let me see, and it ends right here. Okay, so this one is another function. Okay, so let me see, and it ends right here like that. Okay, so we're gonna go below, and here we're gonna add a third function, and it's gonna be, let's just copy the comments. So let's just have the comments here, let's just put it here. So we have tell WebGL how to pull out the colors from the color buffer into the vertex attribute. So now we're gonna create this function and we are gonna name it init. It's gonna be set color attribute. So it's gonna be set color attribute like that, and we're gonna set it to something. We're gonna open parentheses and we're gonna have three parameters. So we're gonna have GL, we're gonna have buffers or just buffers, and then we're gonna have program info. So we're gonna have the program info. Okay, so now we're gonna open curly braces, and inside of the curly braces we're gonna have okay, this declaration. So we're gonna have the counts, and we're gonna have let me do this. Okay, so we're gonna have okay, so we're gonna have the counts, and we're gonna name it non components. Okay, so that was fine, non components, and we're gonna set it to 4. Okay, so we're gonna have this counts, and it's gonna be type, and we're gonna set it to GL dot let me see, GL dot flow, GL dot, let me see, float, just like that. We ended up with a semicolon. We're gonna have this declaration is gonna be normalize, normalize, const normalize, and we are gonna set it to false, ended up with semicolon. So normalize, we're gonna have this variable stride. Okay, this variable stride, we're gonna set it to 0, semicolon at the end. We're gonna have this declaration is gonna be offset. It's gonna be like that, offset, and we're gonna set it to 0, semicolon at the end. And now we're gonna have in the GL that bind is gonna be the bind buffer, and we are gonna pass in some arguments. So it's gonna be GL that is gonna be array buffer, GL that array buffer, and then buffer color. So it's gonna be buffers. Let me see, buffers that color. So the colors like that. So we have the buffers that color, and we end it with a semicolon. We're gonna have something similar, but this time it's gonna be buffer data. It's gonna be buffer data. I mean, let me see. Nope, it's not gonna be buffer data. It's gonna be the vertex. It's gonna be the vertex position, or let me see, vertex attribute pointer, vertex attribute, just vertex attribute, and then it's just gonna be pointer like that. So we open parentheses, and inside of the parentheses we are gonna have in the program, we're gonna have the program info. Okay, program info. What else do we have here? So it's gonna be that attribute location. So attribute location, that's fine. And then it's gonna be the vertex attribute pointer. Let me see, vertex just vertex color. So it's gonna be vertex color like that. So ended up with the same, with a comma, separated with a comma because we're gonna add more. We have the num components, comma, num components. We have the type, comma, we have normalize, comma, what else, we have strike, comma, and we have offset. Okay, so we have that, we separated again with a comma, and okay, we ended up this we close this parentheses with semicolon at the end. So we have that. And let me see, so we still have a piece of code. So we're gonna go below, and it's gonna be GL that, it's gonna be GL that enable, let me see if that is the one, enable vertex attribute array, enable vertex attribute array. So that's fine, but we're gonna pass some arguments. So we're gonna pass the program info, we're gonna pass in the attribute location. So it's attribute locations that vertex, it's gonna be vertex, let me see, it's gonna be vertex color. So it's gonna be vertex color like that. The second one, we ended up with a semicolon at the end, and we should have this curly brace at the end. So we have that, and again, not much is changing, so we're almost finished. But now call the set color attribute. So as you remember, we created this set. It was the, let me see, I think it was here, I guess. No, let me see, I think it was in the main, and the second over here. Okay, so we have that. Let me see, so call the set color attribute function from the draw sim right before the GL use program call. So let me see, okay, so call the set color attribute function from the draw sim right before the GL.user program call. So we need to go into the draw sim, and let me see, so we have this, we need to find the GL use program. So GL, here, this one. So here we have the GL.use program. So right before that, we're gonna have a piece of code, and we're gonna pretty much call the set color attribute. So we're gonna call the set color attribute function from the draw sim using this. So it's gonna be the set, oops, let's go here. It's gonna be set set color. So okay, set color attribute, and we're gonna pass in the GL, and we're gonna pass in the buffers, and finally we're gonna pass in the program info. So save it. Again, we are in the draw scene. Now that we finish our code, make sure that in the draw scene file, in the line 97, in the gl.bind buffer, we have two parameters, the gl.array underscore buffer comma, and then the buffers.color. So make sure it's not colors but just color like this, and then you save it with Ctrl S, and you can go to the index and just type in all plus L plus O, and as you can see, this is the final result. So this is what you should get.